Okay, so hello everyone, and welcome to today's episode. I have an incredible guest with me, Jenna D'Annunzio. She's a second generation entrepreneur, a keynote speaker, a best-selling author, and a holistic business and mindset coach. Jenna is all about helping entrepreneurs and busy parents, just like herself, build a business and a life they truly love. As a certified professional coach and EFT practitioner, Jenna blends psychology, education, and personal development to help people feel the healthiest, happiest, and wealthiest versions of themselves. So I want to thank you, Jenna. And I'm so excited to dive into this conversation with you.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right, let's start with your journey. You're a second generation business owner. So what does that mean? I know business has been a part of your family, right?
Yeah.
So it's pretty much in your DNA. So what was it like growing up? Did you always know that you wanted to take this entrepreneurial path?
No, I didn't. Truly, ever since I can remember, I always wanted to be a teacher. And
Ah,
I really thought that I felt that really kind of meant, right? What a little one assumes a teacher is you're up in front of the classroom and you're teaching some sort of academia on whatever subject you like the most. And so, truth be told, that is what I've always wanted to do from the get-go. I mean, I have pictures of myself with my stuffed animals lined up, and I have a book, and I'm sitting there and I'm reading them the book, or I'm writing little, worksheets for them to do 1 + 1 is 2, and things like that. And so it truly wasn't until I would say my mid 30s that I made that conscious decision. It felt really in alignment that I was meant to do more, be more, and teach people just in a different capacity than I had always thought.
okay. I love that. It's funny how growing up in a business family can either push you towards it or make you run from it. And but you've
Yeah.
really embraced it and you're making a great impact. So that's wonderful.
Oh yeah, thank you. Thank you. It's funny because when my father is the founder of our company, and he really didn't start that journey until I was probably around 11 or 12 is when he really started to kick that off. I would say seventh grade. And for a long time, I kind of rejected it. I thought, as a business owner, we dive into our work. And I was kind of raised in that hustle culture. And for a long time, in order to see my dad, I would go down into his office and I would sit there and I would do my homework while he was on his coaching calls because he just jam-packed his day with business and growing the business. And so I didn't always understand what that meant. And therefore, I kind of rejected it. And I said, I'm going to do my own thing. I'm going to go off. I'm going to become a teacher. And I'm going to get all these degrees that have nothing to do really with coaching. Although that was just a story I was telling myself. Every step of the way really led me to identify what felt more in alignment with who I wanted to be. And that was
Yes.
embarking on that entrepreneurial journey, following in his footsteps and kind of building my own path from that foundation that he had built.
So let's talk about your work. You don't just help people build successful businesses, you also help them create the life they love. And
Yeah.
I know, a lot of business owners feel that that's a struggle, right? It's
Mhm.
easy to get caught up, like you said, in the hustle and forget about the happiness. What's your
Mhm.
secret to finding that balance?
So the secret sauce is really there's just the mastery of our mind. And I have built a incredible business. I'm continuing to build an incredible business that really supports others in understanding that the entrepreneurial journey is not just about that hustle. It's not just about the logistics, the numbers, the execution, the implementation, the to-do list. That is really what has been deemed more of like, when I look at energy management, that is the more masculine energy behind business. And when I say masculine, I don't mean feminine and masculine. I don't mean gender roles, right? So I'm talking more of that, what we feel like we need to do in order to see success in our business. I focus more on and with a combination of both that feminine energy and that masculine energy that really explores the collaboration, the mastery of our mind, the 6 inches between our ears that tell us these different stories of what we have to do, what we need to do, and more choose to have my entrepreneurs see all of these opportunities as ways to grow and explore and feel more in alignment with who they want to be and what they want to do and creating value for others.
That's great. That makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
I like how you focus on integrating the masculine and the feminine. What a perfect balance, because let's be honest, some days that balance feels like a myth.
I agree. And I say, when people ask me, so what is work? I want more work-life balance. And as an entrepreneur, what does that even mean?
Mm-hmm.
And then you add in parenthood.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
good
yes.
luck, right?
Yes.
Good luck.
Oh, yes.
Just this week, I have 3 beautiful children, 6, 8, and 10. And my 6 and 8-year-old were sick this week. I had both home with me on Monday. And then I just had one home with me yesterday. And so I could have either become frustrated with that reality and overwhelmed and scurrying, trying to figure out how I'm going to rearrange things and all of the hustle and bustle, or I just embraced it and said, these 2 days are going to look a little bit differently than I had anticipated. Here are the times that I can create some value and really focus, but my kiddos need me right now.
Yes.
And that's okay. And so if I'm 90% mom and 10% business today, I know that later on in the week when they're better, that's going to flop.
That's so true. And I love that perspective. It's clear that family plays a huge role in your story. You see your work as continuing the legacy that your father is building? Are you shaping something entirely new? I know you're part of the business, but going forward, will you continue to build on that legacy, or you have ideas for something different?
That's a great question. What drew me to you is that amplification of legacy, because I think it's a little bit of the both and. I have ideas for it, but he has built such an incredible foundation that I am so grateful that I can carry this on. A little bit about my story and my journey is I grew up, my parents separated when I was a baby. I don't ever remember them together. And for the first, so I just turned 40 in December. For the first quarter, so to speak, of my life, I lived with my mom, and it was a really unhealthy situation, a psychologically unsafe situation. And so at a very young age, I recognized that, and I came to him and I said, "Can I live with you?" And so that was the first step in him kind of like saving me a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
And I want to honor what he has built. I want to amplify that legacy, and I want to take it to the next level and build off of it to create more value and touch more lives.
That's wonderful. That's amazing. And I'm glad that he stepped up and he was able to bring you into the fold and just take you to the next level.
Yeah, me too.
That's a blessing. You said that mastering your thoughts, your emotions is, I guess that's the secret to building the life that and the business that you truly love. And honestly, that's amazing. But let's be real. That's really sometimes a chaotic environment trying to bring business and life, especially family life together. It's really hard to do. What's the first step that what advice you would give them if they're feeling stuck and overwhelmed?
The first step is honoring and recognizing what they're experiencing in the moment. So many of us have a disregard for what we're experiencing, and we just keep going and on with the hustle. We sweep it under the rug. So when someone comes to me and it's like, yeah, I'm overwhelmed, but I'm a business owner. I got to put food on the table, keep the roof over, I don't have time for any of that. And I tell them, yes, you do. I need you to slow down to speed up. Let's collect inventory on how we're really feeling in the moment. What is overwhelming us? Once you've identified you feel overwhelmed, you identify that you feel burned out. Why? What's happening? What's going on for you? Once they're able to articulate that, then it's like an onion, right? Then we really start to peel back the layers of what in that particular situation is triggering these thoughts and feelings that we're having. So getting really aware and present to what is going on for us in that moment. So many times people will come to the call. I had a conversation today with a client, came to the call very, very overwhelmed. It was an energy that you could feel from across the screen. And as he was explaining to me what was happening for him and in the negative experience he was in, I asked him, I said, so what about this in particular can you control right now? And he's like, well, nothing. I said, interesting. So how are we feeling right now? Like what's going on in this present moment? And that question alone, that open-ended question of what about this particular situation can we control? And when we really chunk it down and are allow ourselves to take that like more 30,000 foot view of what's happening, more times than not, the reason why we're upset or overwhelmed is about something that happened in the past. Even if it was 5 minutes ago, that's the past, versus something that's going to happen. And we're anxious about a possibility of what could be. Rarely does overwhelm and burnout touch us in the moment when we're present. So recognizing and identifying and witnessing these thoughts is so incredibly powerful and gives us a framework to reframe them.
That's great. I love that approach of reframing everything.
Yeah.
And I also love how your approach to life is like so open. You're open, all about your journey, the highs, the lows, all of it. A lot of people hesitate to share because they feel like they don't have it all figured out first.
Yeah.
But you actually believe that sharing your journey actually helps you and helps others. Why do you think that's so powerful?
Many reasons, but first, I think it's understanding I don't have it all figured out. Does anybody have it all figured out? We're all just doing the best we can with what we have. And I truly believe that our vulnerability creates our credibility. When we can become vulnerable, that shows that we accept our reality. I've accepted to the best of my ability what got me, of my experience that got me here today. I didn't like it. It's not ideal. They're not all ideal.
Yeah, it's hard sometimes.
Yeah, but I can either accept it or reject it. Rejecting it just makes me miserable. It makes anybody. It's the truth of what is and our ability to either accept or reject it. So accepting it, sharing it with others helps folks like you and my clients to say, wow, Jenna's she's a real, I'm no better than you. I'm no better than anybody. Anybody walking down the street, the Tony Robbins of the world. We're all people.
Sure.
Right? So sharing that journey helps me to connect with them on a level of humanness, of realness, We all have our stuff. We all have our traumas and our situations that have brought us to where we are today, and choosing to accept those and take them for what they are and learn from. I know it's a lot, but
It's wonderful. I mean, and I love how you say that our beliefs drive our behaviors and our
yeah.
behaviors drive our results. That's so insightful. Can you break that down a little bit? Maybe share an example of how changing just one belief led to something, a completely different outcome.
Yeah, sure. So, our beliefs, everything is a belief. Every thought pattern that we have is based on a series of beliefs that were instilled in us from birth, right? Now, it, it could be as simple as, would my daughter be as scared of spiders if every time a spider didn't walk in the room and I was like, ah, she's believing that spiders are scary because I, as her mom, think that spiders are scary. So to put it into like real context there, there's two types of belief systems. There's the limiting beliefs and empowering beliefs. And so when any of us is energizing an empowering belief of, I can be anything that I want to be, then you're going to go out there and you're going to take risks and you're going to ask questions and you're going to have a confidence in yourself, knowing, and a love for yourself, versus I am not enough. The things I want, I cannot have, right? There's not enough time. There's not enough time in the day. Well, if I'm energizing that belief, then of course I'm going to be scrounging to try to get everything done and stressed out when I'm not. So it's really this concept of recognizing and being really aware of what beliefs that we're energizing. Is this serving me? Is it not serving me? As I mentioned before, and in my upbringing, the first quarter of my life was tough. And not many people knew details. They know that I don't have a relationship with my mother because I don't see her, I don't speak to her. But they didn't know why.
Sure.
And so when I was approached by Jim Britt, one of the top 20 success coaches in the country, to be a featured co-author of his international best-selling book series, Cracking the Rich Code, I was on the phone with him, and he's just absolutely wonderful. And I said, so Jim, why me? And when you read chapters that people submit, what is one of the best kind of chapters? Like, what do you love reading? And he said, they're the chapters where folks are really vulnerable. They tell a part of their story and how that journey supported them to organically become who they are and what they do and why they do it.
Mm-hmm.
And so in a meditation, it came to me that I so strongly believed that if people knew a little bit about my first quarter of my life, they would judge me. Because in the past, people always felt sorry for, oh, I'm so sorry. And I didn't want their sympathy. I didn't need it. I felt strong and I chose to accept it. And so in my chapter, for the first time ever, I speak a little bit about what I experienced, and how that experience helped to shape and my understanding of what's right and what's wrong, and the kind of mother that I wanted to be.
I love that. That's so powerful. I mean, I think a lot of people, especially business owners, need to hear that. It's not just about making money, but it's about building something that aligns with your purpose and your values and being authentic.
Yeah.
So for someone listening right now, feeling overwhelmed and stuck, and just need that help with shifting that mindset, what's one piece of advice that you give them to start shifting things today?
Yeah, it would be to really pay attention on purpose to some of the thoughts that you're energizing. And do they come from a place of, are they driven by fear? Fear being worried, doubt, upset, frustration, or are they driven by love, which is happy, joy, creativity, innovation? And so when you can identify and get relatively clear on the thoughts that you're energizing, that's when you can say, all right, is this useful? Is this serving me?
Exactly.
And when you answer that question alone, is this useful? Is this serving me right now? Whatever that answer is, that's when you know whether or not you need to reframe, or you get to reframe, right? You don't need to, you get to. It's an opportunity for you to really step into your higher self and the best version of yourself. And that happens in business all the time. Yeah.
Yes, I love that. It really goes to show that small shifts in our thinking can lead to big changes.
Yeah. I always say at 210 degrees, water's hot, right? At 211, it's boiling. And at 212, it's steaming. And the steam engine changed the world. So
Yes.
it's just that 1 degree shift. It's that 1 degree shift. Anything else is not sustainable. And we want to create lasting impact, sustainable change. And so just taking that 1 degree shift to better yourself, love yourself more, pay attention on purpose, really allows you to open up the door to that mastery of your mind and seeing the success that you're so deeply seeking.
1 degree.
1 degree shift.
Okay, so looking ahead, do you think about passing down that mindset, that entrepreneurial mindset to your own kids?
Ah, every day. I would love nothing more than for my babies to join me, see me up on the stage speaking. It was really probably one of the top 5 moments of my life year to date when I received my book in real time, the hardcover, opening up the box with my babies, and I have a video of it, and they were like, "Mom, you're on the cover," and that's just so cool. Yeah, it was really one of the best feelings, and entrepreneurship is just such an incredible journey, and it's business. It's just it's a personal development plan, really, disguised as a financial opportunity for you to grow and evolve. And so I would love nothing more than my kiddos to want to follow in my footsteps like I did my own parents.
I love it. You make success feel so holistic in a sense that it's not just about business, but it's about building a life that truly is fulfilling.
Mm-hmm.
So for those who want to learn more about you, what's the best place to connect with you?
So on all the social medias, Jenna D'Annunzio, I'm on LinkedIn and Instagram, Facebook. You can also head to my website, and it's missiondrivenadvisor.com. And if you're interested, book a call, and I'd love to chat with anybody who is feeling stuck or wants to take their life and their business to the next level and just needs a little bit of support in identifying what that looks like.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jenna. This was incredible.
Thank you. Thank you.
And to everyone listening, take these insights and start shaping a life and a business that brings you joy.